Today, I'm going to tell you what coin I invested $10,000 into. I'm going to tell you why I invested that money and why I think the price will go up. I'm going to give you my price prediction for the coin. So how much will this 10K be worth? And also share the full plan for what I'm going to sell. Before we start, please remember that nothing here is financial advice and I am not a financial advisor. If you're new to the channel, the token I'm talking about is the largest token in the PolitiFi sector, which is called Trump. I made a video on this a long time ago where I said I'll be accumulating it and looking to sell into the attention it gets in October. Now that we're heading into October, I'm making an update video and also giving my price prediction and my plan to sell. Something I'm going to be doing going forward is giving out these narrative ideas. I'm going to be bringing narrative plays to you with full plans on how much I'm going to buy, where I'm going to buy, and when I'm going to sell. And they'll be titled like this: I put 10K into XYZ, or I added this coin to my portfolio. These videos won't come often because I prefer quality over quantity, but when they do come, make sure you watch and subscribe if you already haven't. Now let me be clear, these are not to be copied directly or financial advice. The purpose of it is just to give you valuable ideas because no one else on YouTube makes videos like this. So let me start by reviewing the original thesis in the simplest way possible. If the market conditions are not good, it doesn't matter how good the narrative is, there's no fuel to push the price higher. The fuel is people's optimism and greed to make money. The second part of the thesis is again really simple. October will be the highest mindshare month for the elections. The Trump and PolitiFi meme coins are the best way to capitalize on that attention. We want good market conditions and people willing to speculate and feeling greedy to make money. And then we want all the mindshare of the elections to be translated into pumps for the PolitiFi sector. People buy coins to make money. If people believe they can buy Trump at $3, $4, $5 and sell to someone for $30 by November 5th, they're going to make that bet. The best advertising mechanism is price going up when people realize, actually, this isn't dead and I can potentially make a lot of money on it. That is what will drive the price higher. So the thesis is really simple, but I actually made an error with this play. I didn't follow my original plan, which was to DCA all the way up until September 26th. In this video, I said based on my research and my timing analysis, this is when it will start pumping, and it did that exactly. My mistake was using the correct skill and knowledge for the wrong coin. I knew August 5th was likely the bottom, so I bought Sol at 118 and I bought a bunch of Trump. The mistake I made was not realizing that after the second presidential debate, there was going to be a dead period for this coin until the main election narrative kicks in. And that's why it bled lower. I underestimated how short-term the mindset the traders of this token are. And that really just goes to show you the trickiness of crypto and how nuanced these things are. Buying Sol at $180 made me a lot of money, but with Trump, I'm still around break even. I don't mind owning up to the errors I've made. Nobody's perfect. But as a community, these are all valuable lessons that will serve as well when the real alt season comes and the big money is at stake, when you're playing with 6 to 7x more money than you are now. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to assess the price prediction for Trump and what it could reach in the next few weeks. In my opinion, the most logical base case to use to form a price prediction for this token is to look at the rally it had in February, because that is the similar market cap region that we were just in. So the February rally did an AX in around 30 days, right up until the narrative date, and then it sold off. So if we overlay that fractal to today's prices, that gives us a price prediction of around $13. So this green pattern you can see over here is the exact pattern of the February pump. And now what we're going to do is analyze the probability of getting an AX this October from Trump. Now, what is one big difference between the chart now and then? The answer is there's bag holders now that will create sell pressure. Remember, we bought around this region, right? There's people who bought over here who held since $10 plus, and they went through a lot of pain and they'll be winning out. Another argument is that looking at the altcoin index we had during this rally for Trump over here was some of the best conditions we had seen in crypto for 3+ years. We added 80% to the altcoin index and about $160 billion in value in that month alone. That is another argument against the idea that this token can go AX, because it's very unlikely we get this level of FOMO and new inflow into crypto again in October. It's possible, but it's very unlikely. The third argument is that the overall psychology of the crowd has not healed or recovered from the last 6 months of price action in such a short period of time. I think it will take time for people to get confident to start speculating like crazy on risky meme coins. I originally thought that this token could get back to its all-time high, And maybe it still can, but I thought the market would be in much better shape than it is by now. It's only just recently recovered. Now, what about the other side of the argument? What are the positive arguments for why this token can go AX? You can say that the election narrative is the biggest narrative for this coin, and perhaps one of the biggest narratives in crypto since the ETFs. You can also argue that all it takes is some green candles to ignite some real FOMO back into this coin. So imagine if this goes to $5, $6, I can even see myself being like, you know what, maybe it can go back to this level again because it's only a 2x away at this point. So the conclusion based off of this is we have no idea. And it's mainly because of this one factor over here, because of how reflexive meme coins are. If this one factor kicks in, all the other arguments against it not going to this $13 level become much weaker. So I really have no idea how high this goes because it's impossible to predict the reflexivity and the level of FOMO this gets. But what I can do is share my plan on exiting and know where I'd be happy to take profit, which I'll share with you in a bit. Now, as for the risks, anytime you buy a project, there's two types of risks you have to consider. The first risk is that your thesis is wrong, and the second risk is external factors outside of your control. So with this token, let's go over the first type. Where could my thesis be wrong? The number one key risk is that the market conditions suddenly go bad. If the market conditions for the next few weeks are bad and we start downtrending, then the window of opportunity for this token drastically diminishes and it becomes too risky to hold into the election dates. The most important thing is I do not want to hold this token without a clear plan for what I'm going to do. I don't want to bet on Trump winning the election. The reason I don't ever want to risk myself having to bag hold this project is because it really will go to zero within the next few weeks once the attention goes. So the main risk to my thesis is that Bitcoin starts doing really bad and losing key support levels, which is completely out of my control, and that's why I've limited the percentage of my portfolio I put into this. The second risk with my idea is that somehow, even if the market conditions are good, people won't buy Trump or won't want to speculate on politified meme coins. I think this is very unlikely, especially if some green candles appear for this and trigger that reflexivity. Looking at this, you might think, oh, it's actually quite low risk because really all we need is Bitcoin to go up. But it's the external factors that make this token a pain to hold. The first external risk is the fact that Trump himself is the number one holder of this project. Imagine if he sells, that would be crazy. And the reason he's the number one holder is because the team sent him tokens as a marketing stunt. The World Liberty Fi project, which is Trump's DeFi project, I made an update for this in the Discord and I shared research on how it's just meaningless FUD and it doesn't really affect the token. By the way, for the future, I'm going to start uploading videos in the Dreams Alpha channel in the Discord. In terms of update videos for ideas I've introduced on the main channel and just my general thoughts. In the past, in the Discord coin channels, I was calling the top for ABT, Aero, Turbo, and a bunch of AI low caps. And I realized recently it would have been far more useful if I just made a 2-minute video just sharing my thoughts on why I think these projects will perform bad going forward. So I'm going to start doing that now. I think this channel is really underused and I'm going to change that. The other risk is that the attention and the hype comes and more politified tokens spawn and a cabal pushes a new Trump coin which steals the liquidity away from the main one. The other risks are of course something happening to Trump or his campaign, because seemingly when his campaign does well, like RFK endorsing him, it pumped the price. So that's another risk to consider. So when you mix all of these things up, you realize the true nature of the risks associated with this and why it's important to only put in what you can afford to lose, because a lot of this is completely out of our control. Mainly, we just need the market conditions to be good and no external factors affecting this coin, like from the election campaign and from other meme coins. Now, let me share with you my personal exit plan for this coin. Based on my research, this coin pumps aggressively around 30 to 33 days prior to its narrative. We've seen that when it added $500 million in market cap prior to the presidential debate number 1, and we've seen what it's done in February. It pumped 30 days before Super Tuesday. Now, of course, there's lots of different nuances to both of these rallies, and things never repeat exactly. But this is also typical of what I've seen with other narratives in the past. Around 30 to 40 days prior is when they start getting priced in, and there comes a phase where the pumps really accelerate. Subsequently, that means we're in a very early stage of this being priced in, And if you use the 30-day mark, then this should start pumping around the 3rd of October aggressively. That might be off by a few days either side because we never know exactly. But remember, in the first video I made on this, I predicted that it would pump exactly on the 26th of September, and that's when the pricing would begin, and since then, it's done a 2x. The October 3rd and the October 6th dates that I'm referring to is the aggressive stage final pump. If you also use the information that narratives top 15 to 26 days before the actual event date, then the ideal framework, which is my personal exit strategy, is as follows. First, it should start pumping aggressively on October 3rd to October 6th. From that region, I'll start DCing out evenly over the next 2 weeks, no matter what the price is. If on any particular day, it's at a level where I'm really happy with the profits, for example, if it's at $9, $10, I'm pulling a larger percentage of my balance. Let me be clear, I'm not going to allow myself to get hung up on the price. The true value of this token is zero. But the short-term speculation it allows people to express is valuable, and that's what I'm trying to cash in on. It's not about the price. It's about intelligent timing and being cold-blooded with your execution. I am hoping we get a scenario where it takes off really aggressively, and by the time it's at, say, $10, I've only pulled out 15% of my balance, and I get to sell 85% at such a high price. Of course, this is very dynamic, and your exit strategy should be adjusted to your portfolio and what you can personally handle. Could this pump all the way until the election day and display insane volatility as almost everyone in crypto is trying to make a buck on it? I definitely think that's possible, but that's more gambling to hold until then, and I'm not interested in gambling. Capital preservation is important. In that case, I might leave a moonbag of 10%. I think you have to consider the fact that this is the final and ultimate catalyst for this coin and this narrative, and considering the risks associated with holding this until election day and after, I think smarter people will front run this day. Now, this exit strategy is derived from my custom exit strategy I made for this cycle. If you want to see what that is, join Premium and get access to it now. The reason I say now is because I've got my eye on a couple of new plays coming up soon for my portfolio. I'll leave the link to it in the pinned comments. Now let's talk about sizing. What percentage of your portfolio should be in this? I put in 5%. I can afford to lose 5% worst case scenario because I know I'll get plenty more opportunities like this in the future. The thing is, this section can be a separate video on its own, but I've noticed a trend recently where people are gambling more on meme coins than they should. When you think about what's coming ahead for us, it doesn't make any sense to wipe yourself out taking risks where you really don't need to. I can understand why people do it. It's because they have a smaller portfolio. The only time I myself would increase my risk tolerance to these sorts of plays if I had a smaller portfolio would be if I knew I can easily make that money back via disposable income from my job. The best analogy I can give you is think of your portfolio as a football team. I think of Bitcoin and Ethereum as goalkeepers and defenders of a portfolio, and meme coins like Trump as attackers whose aim is to go out and make you money. If you have 7 attackers on the pitch, you'll score a lot of goals, but you'll also concede a lot, and it's more likely you lose the game than win. At different times, you need to substitute on different players. For example, if you're winning the game and in lots of profits, it makes sense to put more defenders like USDT on to secure your win. You are the manager of your team, aka your portfolio, so you need to decide what your team in crypto looks like and ask yourself, are you setting yourself up for long-term winning? Thanks for watching, and remember, this is just one idea of many I plan to bring on this channel.